Okay, so drawing it again where I have actually room to label the thing so you can read it. Okay, our delta xi is just xi minus 1. It goes with this inequality here, right? And this picture. Okay, and our delta yij is yij minus yij minus 1. Okay, so what's our delta zk? Our delta zijk. Okay, because, well, should be clear. This equals z ijk minus z ijk minus 1. Okay? And that should all hang together. You should understand this. Okay? So what would the rectangle directly above this be?
It would have the same volume, except
No. There's no assumption that these intervals are equal. Now, it doesn't lose any generality to declare that they are, but we didn't declare that. It's not going to have the same volume, but it is going to have one thing in common.
so it would be x sub I minus x sub I minus 1, y sub ij minus I.
In other words, it would have the same cross-sectional area
Yeah, and it would
because
just
it's
be,
directly above, right?
it would be incremented basically 1 cube up.
Yeah, so if I was to draw it and mess up my picture, but I'll do it anyway. Okay, so we have the next increment up. Okay? It still has the same
Assuming the
I
same.
labeled my delta xi where I should have labeled my delta z. Your delta xi is here, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, here's x, here's y, and here's z, right?
Yeah. I mean, it
So,
kind of goes with that line
again,
back there.
carelessness strikes once more. So I'm going to relabel it and then wipe that one out. Delta xi equals xi minus xi minus 1. Glad I went ahead and did this. So that's this side, right? Not where I labeled it. Okay. So that the base of this cube is the same as the base of this one, right?
Assuming the same I and j. Right?
Well, if it's directly above, you got the same I and j. You've already partitioned your x and your y. Okay, so that partition determines where you are here and what you're above, right? So, you know, we could extend this. You know, we could see this as a stack of cubes, right? And they don't all have to have the same dimension, but they all have to have the same base, because this is the base of all cubes. You know, the base will have the same dimensions. Okay? So that this one is delta z what?
I plus 1. Or ijk plus 1.
Yeah, it's the k plus 1, right?
Yeah.
Because I and j are fixed
Right.
for any cube lying above this one, right? So this whole thing of keeping your subscripts straight is really important, okay? Like, after a differential equations course, you get a partial differential equations course. And any decent differential equations course, which unfortunately ours won't be, because they cut us back to 3 credits, would cover power series solutions where you got to deal with indices. In a partial differential equation, you got to deal with multiple indices. So this is getting you ready to deal with indices, right? So we want to, we're belaboring this just a little bit. We could cut through this very easily, but we're not going to. Okay, so so for this rectangle up here, the one directly above, we have the same base, which means we have, again, the I and the J are the same, K up and down, okay? But we go to K plus 1, you saw that, okay? Because the next one up, K is 1 unit higher because of these inequalities, okay? In other words, after ijk minus 1 and ijk, what's next? It's ijk plus 1. The number here keeps changing. This last subscript keeps changing. Okay? And we could talk about then, what would the dimensions of the cube directly to the left of this one be? Or what would the cube directly in front of this one be? What would you do with your subscripts? I would recommend you think that through. I'm not going to do it because you've already seen enough and I'm pretty sure you could. Okay? Okay, well, enough about this increment, but this increment is central. And the other thing about your increment is at some point inside of here, and I don't know where that point projects to, but maybe here, here, and here, right? You got a sample point, okay? Make sense? Okay, so what's the volume of this region? It's this. Of course, you could write it out, and that's kind of what you started doing, which is kind of what I spun off of here, okay? You can write it out, but it's more compact to put it this way, understanding what that means, right, in each case. Okay.